I arrived exactly on time, not early enough to help, not late enough to make an entrance. Just on time. The safest version of myself. The restaurant was louder than I expected, cutlery, overlapping voices, a kind of rehearsed happiness. My sister stood when she saw me, smiling in that careful way she'd perfected over the years. Not distant, not close. Balanced. "You made it," she said. I said I would. She nodded. Like that mattered more than it should. I took the empty seat my mother had clearly saved. Right across from the groom's family. Positioned, not placed. Introduction started almost immediately. Names I wouldn't remember, professions I was supposed to be impressed by. There was a rhythm to it. Status passing around the table like a shared language. Then it reached me. My mother didn't hesitate. "This is our daughter," she said, her tone light, almost conversational. "She cleans houses for a living." She smiled after she said it. Not apologetically, just efficiently. Like she'd delivered the necessary context, my father added, without looking at me. "We've given up on her, honestly. She prefers simple things." A few polite laughs. The kind people use when they're not sure what response is correct. I felt it, not sharp, not sudden. Just a quiet compression in my chest. Like something folding inward. This wasn't new. The wording changed sometimes, but the meaning didn't. I reached for my glass of water and took a sip. It gave my hand something to do. Across the table, the groom's mother had gone still. Not offended, not amused, just focused. She was looking at me in a way that didn't match the conversation. Not scanning. Not dismissing. Her head tilted slightly. "Wet," she said, softly. The table didn't stop immediately, but it slowed. Enough for her voice to settle into the space. "You're the woman who..." She stopped. Not because she forgot. Because she was choosing whether to say it. And in that hesitation, the room changed. My mother's smile faltered, just for a second. My father finally looked at me, then at her, trying to understand what he'd missed. The groom shifted in his seat. My sister's hand tightened around her napkin. The silence that followed wasn't dramatic. It was dense. Like everyone had stepped into something they couldn't quite see yet. The woman straightened slightly. "I'm sorry," she said, more carefully now. "You run that service, don't you? The one people book months in advance." No one spoke. She kept going. Not out of insistence, but because she was clarifying something real to her. "My sister uses it," she added. She said the woman who started it built the entire operation herself. Trains the staff personally. There was an article last year, I think. She looked at me again, but differently this time. Not searching, confirming. "That's you, isn't it?" I didn't answer right away. Not because I was deciding what to say. Just because, for the first time in a long while, I wasn't sure which version of myself the room could hold. "Yes," I said, eventually. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. My mother's face changed in a way I'd never seen before. Not anger, not embarrassment exactly. Something closer to miscalculation. "You never said..." She started. I didn't interrupt her. I just let the sentence sit there, unfinished. Because she was right. I hadn't said. Not in a way that would fit into their conversations. Not in a way that would translate into the kind of approval they understood. My father cleared his throat, shifting in his seat. "Well," he said, trying to adjust. "It's still cleaning." He meant to ground it. To bring it back to something manageable. The groom's mother didn't respond to him. She was still looking at me. "That's not simple," she said quietly. "What you described isn't simple." It wasn't praise, not really, just a correction. And somehow, that landed heavier than anything else. The table resumed after that. Slowly, conversation splitting off, reforming around safer topics. But the shape of it had changed. People asked me questions now. Not intrusive ones. Just different. Careful. Like they were recalibrating in real time. My sister watched it all with an expression I couldn't quite read. Something between relief and discomfort. My parents spoke less, not silent. Just, less certain. I didn't fill the space for them. I answered what was asked. I kept my voice even. I didn't explain more than necessary. Because I realized something sitting there, between the courses, between the glances, I hadn't been hiding. I had just stopped trying to translate myself into something they would recognize. and maybe that was the part they'd given up on. When dinner ended, there were goodbyes, handshakes, the usual polite conclusions. My mother touched my arm as we stood. "You should have told us," she said, quieter now. I looked at her. "Really looked this time?" "I did," I said. "Just not in a way you were listening for." She didn't respond. Outside, the night felt cooler than it had earlier. Or maybe I just noticed it more. I stood there for a moment, watching the others gather, disperse, move on with their separate pieces of the evening. Nothing had been fixed. Nothing had been undone. But something had shifted, subtly, permanently. Not how they saw me, just how much that mattered.